Maybe you're getting closer to the truth.
Hombre, muchas gracias. Yo quisiera comenzar con Chris preguntándole la manera en cómo se desenvuelven los personajes, bastante interesante. Yo quisiera saber, yo sé que Shatter es algo sobre un abrebocas de lo que sucederá con el detective, pero más adelante habrá una precuela para los demás personajes. Por ejemplo, está la chica del cabello rubio que me dejó sonando, o sea, que yo sé que es una parte de su obra, pero, por ejemplo, ¿qué pasará con el otro personaje que está en el psiquiátrico? Hey, Dave.
Yes, hi Dave. I'm Andres. I could be the translator. But this question goes for Chris. Yes, it's a cool question because I got the same question. We know that Shatter develops one history in particular with some characters, not the character of Bob, but there is like a possibility, I don't know, of prequels or like side stories because you show a lot of interesting characters, really cool characters, and yes, we saw the movie was like, and what happened with this one, like the girl, like, so there is a possibility of side stories. Tell us, man.
Yeah, I mean, so we crammed quite a lot into this film, I have to say, in terms of characters and just different story arcs and everything. I mean, it was really supposed to be a good conglomerate of all the different characters that, you know, I don't want to give too much away, but that have to deal with the main character and kind of the story he's presenting in his own mind, as well as what's actually going on around him. So, I mean, it's definitely packed with a lot of things, but as the story and the film develops, you kind of learn a little bit about what's really happening kind of behind the scenes in terms of his investigation, and then in terms of also like where the story is actually leading you.
Probablemente se vengan las historias.
Bueno, eso esperamos porque me dejó iniciado.
¿Cómo describirían a sus personajes y qué fue lo que más les gustó al interpretarlos? Lo que más
how would you describe the character you interpret, and what's the most the thing you most you like the most about your character?
Good question. I think I interpreted the character to be a very, how do I want to put it? Self-absorbed. He was kind of about himself. I don't want to give too much away from the film, but if you well, as you delve into the story a little bit, you understand that he's a little corrupt. He's got something of an agenda, and then obviously it comes out that it's all most of it is just in his mind, and he, you know. So I really enjoyed playing that role because of the fact that I got to, let's say, play out some of my inner demons, so to speak. And I got to play a lot of it just almost as myself, but just as myself if I were angry. So it kind of came easy, you know.
I would like to ask to Chris. I noticed, of course, a lot of surreal elements that, well, they have to do without telling any spoiler with the nature of the narration. You know, we have the idea of not a character who has psychiatric problems in a way. So. Do you have any inspiration from films like Perfect Blue, Black Swan, or the recent Censor by Fran O'Bailey Bond?
So yeah, a lot of the inspiration actually came from a bunch of David Lynch's work. So like Lost Highway and Inland Empire, and things like that. So you can definitely, and Mulholland Drive was a big one as well. You can definitely, if you watch the film and you're familiar with his work, you will definitely see a lot of call outs that we've made to his kind of style and to certain things maybe that he features in his films. So, I mean, it's kind of like a challenge to the people who are familiar with his work to, when they watch the film, can you actually like piece together all of the little Easter eggs that we put in there. that just kind of tie back to David Lynch's work. So that was a big inspiration and has been a big inspiration in a lot of my work. The surreal elements are all in there, and we tried to bridge this kind of like completely nonsensical story with a more, I guess, story that you could follow a little bit easier. But we really like his like interpretation of like nonlinear storytelling and things like that. So, you know, we took all this stuff, we set it in this film noir, thriller, crime mystery type setting, and then mixed it all together and just, you know, see what we come out with, see how it all worked as a film in just like itself in the whole sphere of the story, and to see what actually comes out and what people can, you know, we left a lot of it open as well so that people can have their own interpretations. So we thought it was like cool because it's just this kind of big puzzle that people are trying to put together, and that's everybody gets something a little bit different out of it. So I thought that was an interesting take on it.
No, it's interesting now you mentioned Lynch, because now when I see the, you know, the Lost Highway elements, the thing about Lost Highway, it's really a puzzle impossible to solve. That's I think, and I mean, and that's why I relate your film with Perfect Blue, because, you know, Satoshi Kon, when he did the movie film, Lost Highway elements, and he fusioned that with Hitchcock. So I thought, besides of the noir, I saw some elements of the classic, you know, police thriller. Do you use that also as an inspiration?
I mean, I definitely use Hitchcock as an inspiration as well, but I don't think I've seen Perfect Blue. So that would be an interesting one to add to my list now that I know it's inspired. So
yes,
that's your homework tonight, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. It's always amazing though how many films are out there that connect in certain ways that you just you haven't seen or you haven't come across. And you know, obviously we're working in a lot of underground, you know, films that have cult followings, and you know, it's not really mainstream. So there's so many of those films out there to be discovered, and it's just like amazing how a lot of them are interconnected and interwoven and just don't reach the mainstream. And so that's, you know, it's also one thing I was hoping with Shatter is it becomes kind of that kind of underground type wild looking film that when people find it, they're like, wow, this is really cool, you know, but it's not something that has been totally like mainstreamed and it's designed around your Hollywood formula. So yeah, very cool.
Excelente, gracias, Fanzine. Andrés.
Bueno, César, te robo acá una pregunta. Okay, I'm stealing a question from my friend. Great question, by the way, Fanzine. Let's talk about another kind of source of inspirations, Chris, because believe me, when I start seeing your movie, that first scene, that first like, yes, how we can say it, it reminds me to all these video games like Outlast. I mean, I feel like walking on a corridor, something strange happens, amazing world of cinematography, by the way. I got a question, but before I did this question to all the people is here, it's great that mentioning Lost Highway, because we got the honor to talk with Michael Chamus-Wiles, one of the actors from this movie. He was on the movie. And of course, we got the amazing Bonnie Arons from Mulholland Drive here. So it's great to have you here, Chris, and people like the new wave of indie terror. Yes, man, tell us if you inspired somehow in video games, in terror video games, or there is a possibility, because yes, if there is some kind of Shatter video game, I will play it because I love them most. Sign me in.
It's funny you mentioned that, because yes, that very first scene, that whole, I guess the first through third sequences that we shot, very much inspired by Silent Hill, actually. You know, I played that game. It's been around me, you know, forever now, and it was one of my favorite video games growing up. And I've always wanted to capture that kind of feeling in a movie. So to see that it may have translated, you know, to how you've interpreted it or how you've seen it or experienced it is pretty amazing, actually. But yeah, that whole sequence there was pretty much direct from the video game and how I felt trying, we had a project that was, we started on a long time ago called Ashes, which was a kind of a very similar feel. And we only did like a very, very short pilot, but that was totally based on like a Silent Hill theme. And we never finished that project, but this was me working that project into another project because I had such high hopes and I really loved the feel of that and how it came across and everything. And we filmed the pilot at the same we were actually filming at an old match factory that was from like the 1800s and everything in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. And we actually filmed the pilot for Ashes there. And then this scene in Shatter was actually also filmed at that same location. And so, I mean, they've done a lot of renovations and everything, but it's a crazy place to film anything. And so it was really inspired mainly by that kind of feeling I got from playing the original Silent Hill.
And it's crazy because my favorite Silent Hill is Shattered Memories.
Yeah.
It's called that way. Jhon, thank you. Dale, Jhon.
Tranquilo. De hecho, tengo esta pregunta para Dave, que es el productor de SHATTER, y quisiera preguntarle, bueno, tras de que usted hizo parte de la historia en poder hacerla, ¿cuál fue como ese elemento importante o la característica que usted dijo, mire, de una vez le invierto a este proyecto? Un flashback de pronto que usted recordé ya, uy, me recordó a tal idea que me encantó, que nos cuente una anécdota sobre ello.
Dave, what is the thing that made you say, I need to invest in this movie, man?
Well, I had done projects with Chris before, and when we're out there doing this kind of independent filmmaking, it's real inspirational. Everyone's kind of just out there for the love of the project. And I think Chris brings that energy as much, if not more so, than anyone else on set. So I don't know, man, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I think it was one of these situations where you kind of hit me up and went, all right, we've got a big project coming up, but I need you to hop in. And I was like, well, sounds like I've been recruited into this. So part of it was just a long-standing relationship where, I'm used to working with these great guys. And then part of it was being told I was going to be a part of this. So I think it was a little bit of both.
You didn't have any choice.
Well, I don't think you did either too, Bob, if I recall correctly. I think it was a similar conversation.
Perhaps, but I was all for it. I mean, we'd done a bunch of short films together, which, were a lot of fun doing. I mean, some of the stuff was grueling, but seeing the end product was a real enjoyment for me every time we churned out a new 10 or 15 minute short film. And then just the idea of doing a full-length feature film. And I mean, I just was really excited about it, and I'm glad I was part of it. I mean, it took us a long time, and it was a lot of work, but it was in the end, especially once we now see the finished product, it was absolutely worth every minute of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yo tengo que complementarle a vos antes de que continúe usted, muchacho. Yo sé que el personaje del detective tiene muchas, como dice acá en Colombia, muchas mañas en la cuestión de tener algo así siempre con los dientes, la manera en cómo se desenvuelve con las manos. ¿Cómo fue la inspiración del personaje para que ese detective tuviera ese trasfondo maquiavélico?
But what a great question. In Colombia, we call it mañas. And I mean, in the USA, it will be like treats or tits. Yes, how do you develop your detective, all the teas, all the trees that he got to get the information? We know that sometimes he's a bastard, but he got his job done. So yeah, man, how do you build this character? Sometimes you scare me, man. But I won't spoil anything. I think the detective got what he deserves. But no, man, tell us, how do you develop this amazing character with all the treats and misdemeanors to get the information that he needs?
I think most of it was scripted. I do feel like the character was almost written for me because, I mean, it was an easy role to play for me. But there were times where we kind of went off scripter a little bit, or where I did give my input where, hey, this dialogue sounds contrived, and can we mix this up to this other thing, to suggestions of how things, you have to, when you're delivering your lines, it has to come out natural for the actor as well as the character, because if it's things that aren't commonly said by the actor, let's say, on a regular basis, then unless you're a really, really good actor, it will sound canned. It won't sound natural, and then you get a kind of an odd feeling about the scene, where we really did try to avoid that kind of thing, and we stuck with the things that really felt natural to me and to all the other actors.
Oh.
Bob, do you mind if I hijack your answer and add a little color to it?
Go ahead.
Chris is a real hands-on director, and that's one of the joys of working with him, is that he's great with all the actors, and watching him and Bob work together to mold this character, which is what you're seeing on screen. Chris had the double benefit of writing the screenplay, so he had the storyboard, the direction, and the writing all in mind. And I don't know how familiar you guys are with your U.S. geography, but Bob comes from the Philadelphia, New Jersey area.
Yeah, the accents of
known for being a little tough.
Yeah, hence the
it's
a number of years old, but
you don't have to wear it for 40 years till you can get a new one.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, he comes from the rough streets of Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Chris would be giving him a note, and I'd be on the outside looking, and he'd be like, all right, your detective's going to do X, Y, Z. And I'd be like, man, how's Bob going to internalize this? Or how's he going to get this out? And you'd say something, I don't know if you recall this. You'd be like, oh, yeah, I've had plenty of run-ins when I was younger that sounded like that. I'll just channel that energy.
Yeah.
And I think a couple times that was, the inspiration was police you had observed in your younger years.
You mean the ones that were beating me up and putting cuffs on me?
I didn't want to give away anything that you didn't want told on the interweb.
Yeah, and kind of in addition to that is the part actually was 100% written for Bob. So, as someone who's been, doing short films and feature films for as long as I have, and working with Bob and all this thing, and we do all this on no money. So everything we do, we kind of have to work with what we have. And so when I sat down and talked to my brother about writing the script and everything, I knew who would play Detective Matthews in this movie. And so basically, everything that I knew about Bob came through in that character, but obviously, I'm writing it with my own dialogue, me and my brother, so it's harder for us because we can't become these characters as much as we want to. And so the dialogue is only how we'd say it. And so it really helps, I know Bob and both Dave were in on set, and we massaged quite a lot of the dialogue during production, just because it was like, Detective Matthews would never say that, or this sounds kind of weird, or, and we crossed things out. We did all kinds of stuff on set. When we were actually filming, some of it was just cut for time, and some of it was cut just because it was just wacky. And I look back and go, I don't even know why I would write that. It didn't make sense with the character and everything. But when you're in the zone of writing, your position is, and so all of that stuff, kind of translated into how the actual production turned out. So yeah, but it was very interesting.
I have a question for Chris. I talk a lot with script writers and filmmakers, and I always they always tend to put a lot of themselves in the scripts and the films they make. Actually, it's kind of they are doing the same film over and over again with different genre characters. So, which part of you, of your soul, of your being, it's represented in the film and in the characters?
Yeah, so actually, I'd say not too much, because we tried. Just in general, we take a lot of genres, like the film production company that kind of this was all built under, which was Red Glass Films. So the whole purpose of that I kind of founded was to go out and explore different genres and how we could kind of take those genres and twist them a little bit. And Shatter was kind of like our biggest effort in doing that. And it was basically like, can we take that noir crime thriller mystery genre, add some elements of horror, maybe a little comedy here and there, maybe some dark drama, and then take a huge surreal element and just throw it right in the middle and mix it all up and see what comes out. And so, the big thing for us is just some experimentation and all that. And I think the part of me that I left in this character was when I was a kid, I always loved the film noir style and those gumshoe detective movies. And so, I think part of that had influenced me, and then that got translated into the character. So I definitely think there's a little bit of that as like my childhood that's part of this character. But I try to write them as if I wasn't myself and try and keep myself out of it so that I can develop a more multi-perspective character. Since we're doing so many different genres, I try and really keep them all unique and different. But there is always a little bit of you in every character you write. There just has to be by nature. So yeah.
Gracias, Fanzine. Andrés.
No, creo que el que tiene preguntas es César. De mi parte ya no.
César.
Va. Ok, mi siguiente pregunta igual va para Chris. Preguntarle cuál fue el reto más grande con el que se enfrentaron al grabar la película.
Okay, Chris, what is the biggest challenge that you had to overcome doing this movie, man?
We had a lot of challenges.
We did.
Yeah, we did, for sure. I think it was a movie that was never supposed to be made. So that it actually got made is kind of a conundrum because, obviously making a movie on no budget has its own challenges in itself. And then we piled that on with a lot of life events and things like that. But yeah, I think for me, and I would love Dave to expand on on his too. But for me, my challenge was just that we kind of got to this point, when you start a project, you have just so much passion and excitement for it and wanting to go out there and do it and get it done as fast as you can, but as make it look as good as possible and all of those things. And you just have so much excitement, and then you start doing it and you realize like, well, we don't have any money and we want it to look a certain way and sound a certain way, but that takes time. It takes an excessive amount of time to perfect something with so little at your disposal and so little resources and everything like that. So I think for me, like one of the biggest challenges was kind of when we got near the end of this and just didn't really have the money or the experience to do some audio mastering in it. And I got hung up on that for quite a long time. And I tried hard to learn how to do it myself and to become an expert in this, which also takes time, and purchase the software and everything like that, which also takes time because I had no money to begin with. So I'm saving, the money, my beer money budget. So I'm usually, I'm not going to drink this week. I'm going to put, that $10 into a pot, and then I'm going to buy this software so I can look into how to edit this. And I mean, we tried a lot of things. We tried a Kickstarter and we tried some social media campaigns and all of that. And it didn't make it quite far enough to get the result we were looking for. And, so in the end, I probably could have just let it go and put the movie out as it was, but I ended up saving up my money and we got a professional audio engineer to take a stab at the audio. And, I feel like he did a good job of cleaning things up. But overall, I mean, I think it was just the whole no money aspect, I think, was one of the biggest issues with it. And just for me, just trying to do things right. But, in a sense, I probably overreached for a bunch of those things when I didn't need to. But, I wanted to do it right. This was kind of our last big effort. And I didn't want to to leave anything that I couldn't achieve off the table. But I know, Dave, we've had a long production, so I know there were some big challenges on your end. So I want to have your bits on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great answer. I think that sums up the spirit of the whole thing. Beg, borrow, steal, right?
Mhm.
Chris has said this movie was made on no money, and that's not hyperbole. I think we tallied it up, and it was like $650 in production cost.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Kevin Smith can take a note from that. I think it was $50,000 for Clerks, and that was like the movie that was made with no budget. So we literally had to kind of like shoot first and then ask for forgiveness later. The pre-production was easy because we were just flying by the seat of our pants on a lot of it. It was like, well, we're going to shoot on Monday. The production itself, which was what I was most involved with. You know, I think Chris, you summed up real well. We had a lot of people we'd worked with and that knew about what we were doing in our community. And they were great about showing up and helping and letting us film in their, like on their location, right? And when you start looking around, it's amazing the resources that are at your disposal if you can kind of talk your way into it. But that was the production. And then I would agree, the post-production, we had all of this film in the can, right? It was all captured, and Chris gets the lion's share tenfold for just sheer will making this movie happen, because the post-production was, it was all him, really, even with the audio engineer coming in. So I think the final product looks good, even if there was a budget ascribed to it. But the fact that it was all just a sheer will of creation, speaks to what this tiny little film has really accomplished.
We are going to showcase the trailer.
Is anyone there?
Well, Mr. Matthews, I don't see how anything in his file can be considered evidence in his escape. It's not a matter of law and order.
So how long have you been pretending to be crazy?
I'm not crazy. Just aware.
Oh shit, Jim!
Maybe you're the one who's crazy.
You think the confession of a mental patient would really hold up in court?
It would if he's not really mental.
What did you find?
Say what? The truth!
Maybe you're getting closer to the truth.
Wow, increíble. Yo se quisiera decir que, como le dije a todos, Bot en el filme, Bot en la vida real, sonriente todo el tiempo. Eso es un clásico.
Yes, Jhon will showcase the thing that he say in the chat, but in the movies but in real life it's like that. And but by the way, I was watching the trailer and your cat scared me. It's a beautiful cat, but I was so concentrated watching it, and that's what what is the name of the kitty, man? Tell us.
Yeah, it's very funny when you watch a movie and you see the character and then you meet the actor and it's the complete opposite. It happens a lot to me, and it's very funny. I mean, especially when it's a dark character. I mean, it's fun to be that the actor is oh yeah, he smiles all the time, and the character is the opposite. That's a good job as an actor. That's a great performance.
Well, to an extent. I mean, some of it yeah, I try to be as happy and make people laugh and things like that. You know, it's like I like the lighthearted side of life. But there are, you know, we all have our frustrations, and up until recently, life wasn't always so kind to me, and I had a lot of frustrations that, you know, that well, I'll call him the rage monster that Dave Matthews had. I had a little bit of that, you know, in my younger years, because again, things always didn't work out in my favor. As I've gotten older, I've realized that even when things don't work out in your favor, you're better off just laughing it off and continuing on. So I try not to actually portray that type of person, but I did have it up here in the storage banks. So when it was time to bring it out for a dramatic role, it was easy enough to recall. So
who's the cat behind your head?
oh, this is Rock and Roll.
No, the cat.
From,
no,
There's a cat
no,
behind
the
you.
kitty,
The black cat, your pet.
I thought you said cat. This is Milo. This is my buddy. I didn't realize he was behind me. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, it scared me. I was watching the trailer, and then I watched the cat walking back, and you was like, "What?"
Yeah, he's
Okay,
actually one of the
reacted.
four
Cat
cats.
phantom.
And we also have two very large dogs too. So we like our critters. They make us happy.
Yes, it's beautiful. John, chicos, lo que
Yo
ustedes quieran.
para, bueno, dejarle pues la palabra a César y a algunos de ustedes, yo solo quiero decirle que cuando disfruté el filme, se me surge una pregunta para todos. ¿Cuándo será que el personaje de Bo lave los platos algún día? Eso, que no, o sea, yo me quedé como que, ¿what? O sea, y también, lo más importante, ¿cuándo será en el que Bot, nunca del arma, cargada, sino pues, a la persona que estaba haciendo el psiquiátrico? Eso me pareció algo retorcido, pero bueno.
Okay, John got two questions. When he saw the movie, when will be the day that the detective will wash the dishes? And he feel that it was very twisted. Yeah, the scene with the loaded gun, and when he gave the gun to the psychiatrist, it was like very, like, just twisted, bizarre. I don't know if you can answer those questions from John, Bob, or Chris.
Chris, I think I'll let you handle that.
Yeah, Chris, you wrote that character, and those were very important things for you. I recall that, the dishes in particular. It's funny you picked up on that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we so all throughout the film, we throw a ton of little Easter eggs into Bob's little character there, that I think, you know, anytime you rewatch it, you'll probably catch something else about his character that you might have missed. For instance, his choice of deodorant or his world's best grandma cup or things like that. So part of that is, you know, he's so invested in the case and in his job and trying to find all these answers that he doesn't really see or understand kind of the things that are closest to him, things that are going on in his personal life. And, you know, it's just this, we tried to make him kind of this stereotypical, you know, hard ass cop type character. But then there's just some subtle cracks into that facade that kind of show some different angles as to who he is on the inside. And there's things going on that, you know, maybe he's not paying attention to in his own life, or maybe they are little clues to, you know, the end of the film. You know, they kind of speak these weird, you know, because you're just like, that doesn't fit somebody of that character. And so, but they're done on purpose because they're hinting at something to come and something to be revealed. And, you know, it's, we pretty much, you know, we challenge people to pick up on those things, but most people will never pick up on those things. But we definitely, you know, would appreciate the kind of diehard fans that really dig into a film and start to look at it from the perspective of what does everything mean, and they actually look at each scene and the details of those scenes and try and actually think about what we were trying to to uncover or reveal or say in those scenes. So there's a lot of mystery back behind this film, just levels, and it's levels deep of little things we added that actually mean something in the story, but on the surface it just looks like we missed something, or something else was going on, or we were missing a prop that day, so this is all we had to work with. But a lot of that stuff is very important and very impactful in terms of the overall film and just defining the character and defining the events that are going on there. So
yeah, Chris, I'll compound on that just a little bit. Chris, I really liked our solution when we first started filming, and I had a cell phone that we used in the first scene. And then shortly thereafter, my employer, who provided my cell phone at the time, upgraded my cell phone. So we didn't have the same phone. So we came up with this idea that anytime I would use a cell phone, or Matthews would use a cell phone, he was going to have a different one because he kept breaking them. So it was kind of a way around the fact that, oops, I upgraded my phone. I needed that. It worked out pretty good though.
I watched the movie recently after having not seen it for some time beforehand, and I counted like 4 cell phones that we
at
used.
least 4,
yeah. That was and I was making a comment to the person I was watching it with about that. You guys would be forgiven for not picking up on the little deodorant prop, but I'm glad you brought that up, Chris, because anyone I've seen this film with, and I say that, they want to go back and look at it and they're like, wait, what? That's not what I think it is. So if you guys missed that little Easter egg, it merits just a quick little rewatch. It's Detective Matthews getting ready in the bathroom mirror, and he sees the bullet hole. It's that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely needs a rewatch, because in fact I was so thrilled with I'm a writer, and I want to write something about keys, and when I saw how the keys appeared, I was like, wow. Also, it gave me ideas, and man, the whole atmosphere of the beginning for me, it was like so immersive. I feel like in a video game. I was like, is this a trailer for a video game? Because I feel so immersive, man. No. En fact, I will say in Spanish, chicos, aguanta verlos, porque no sé si ustedes vieron el Easter egg del desodorante. Y el de los celulares.
El de los
celulares, sí,
el de desodorante no.
No, we didn't remember the Easter egg from the deodorant, of course, from the cell phones. Yes, so it will be definitely worth a rewatch. But the thing is, before we continue, inviting people to watch this. But César, ¿tienes preguntas?
Sí, haga con broche.
César, dale.
Yo ya, solamente, bueno, agradecer la oportunidad, ya no tengo más preguntas, agradecerles que nos dejaran ver el filme, decirles que me encantó, que ojalá les vengan más proyectos y que los volvamos a tener acá en el canal de vuelta. Y bueno, solo para finalizar, comentar que el personaje que hace Joseph Beltre fue mi favorito de toda la película, me encantó. Y pues nada, solamente eso.
No, César he got no more questions, but he really enjoyed the movie. He wanna see all you guys later with another project, and that he loved the character of that played Joseph, the actor Joseph. What?
Joseph Beltre.
Joseph Beltre.
Joseph Beltre.
Sí.
Yes, he was the favorite character from César. I don't know, Fanzine Argento, argentino, ¿tienes alguna pregunta?
Sí,
well, yeah. More like, well, if you need any help to promote the film, I know a lot of people. Actually, I don't know, Dave, if you have already a sales company, I know people I can introduce you to help you wherever you need. Also, here in Argentina, mostly in Latin America, there's a lot of talent. If you need sound editors, or you mentioned you needed some on a technical department, here are people that do amazing things with nothing. Here, zero budget is the rule because there is no money. And I would like to send you some films from Argentina directors that are actually amazing, and they have done with probably less than this film. I mean, because here I know I participate in some productions here. We don't have budget. So it's a lot of creative, and they do amazing things. So if you need help, from the technical department or whatever, I have people that compose or whatever, I can connect you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Send that our way. I think that Chris, you're more qualified to speak to this next point, but I'll hop in there and do my best anyways. Red Glass Films, which Chris founded and is the flagship for all of our short films and of course Shatter. It's driven by passion. And you were talking, Cesar, you were talking about Joseph Veltri. That was a local actor who, and they all shared this in common, but he was a local actor who came in, and Chris, I believe the first scene we shot with him was the cigarette on the couch, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And neither of us had ever worked with him. And he had just answered a casting call and he checked off all the boxes and he did great reading of the script. And, he came in and knocked it right out of the park. He, there was no financial incentive. He was just, he was looking for an opportunity to express his art. And I think that that's true for everyone in that film. On a rewatch personally, I was reminded at how amazing literally everyone was, where we would put out a casting call. A lot of those shoots were at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. We didn't have the budget. We didn't have the budget to, secure a location. We didn't, we were politely borrowing a lot of them anyways. But the point is, I think Red Glass Films and the products they're putting out, Shatter is at the top of that list, are just, they're driven by passion, a passion for filmmaking and art and acting. And I can imagine that as you're talking about down in Argentina, a lot of people probably share that same thing. Maybe they don't have all the budgets or all the resources, but they're making them. Because expressing yourself is that important.
And it's the same case for Colombian from Mexico.
I can absolutely imagine that.
De hecho, quiero que cerremos, que ellos digan sus redes sociales, que inviten a que vean más gente Chater y un saludo
La
para
foto.
Colombia, sí, Argentina y México, pero primero la foto.
People, in the order that you want, gave a hi to the channel, to Colombia, to Mexico, to Argentina, to wherever you want, and share your social media so people can follow you, and of course, invite people to watch Shatter.
I'll go first only because I'm having battery issues. I might actually have to bug out really soon. I think I'm about 5%, so I'll see if I can do this quick. Hello to our fans in Colombia and Mexico and Argentina. Greetings from Detective Matthews, or who I played once. This is Bob Strouse. I'm inviting you to watch Shatter and all the related films from Red Glass Films. And thanks for being a fan.
Welcome, man. Chris or Dave?
Chris, you get to do the bumper. I'm not
Yes, man.
above line like that.
Sounds good. All right.
Where can they buy the film? You got to let them know that.
That's a good question, man. It's streaming, but so hi, I'm Chris, and director of the movie Shatter. Hi to everybody in Argentina, Mexico, and Colombia, and all the fans out there of those dark, surreal dramas and horror films. Just want to give a shout out to all you fans and say you can catch the film streaming online on a number of streaming services such as Vudu. It's on Amazon. It's also on iPhone, the Apple Store, and iTunes. So you can catch it wherever you do your streaming. And just look forward to getting your feedback on this if you can solve the mystery before it's revealed.
Chris, Dave, Bot, y muy amables y bienvenido siempre.
Oye, el fanzine.
Sí, también fanzine.
También.
Yeah.
Y obviamente nuestro amigo César, Bot, Dave, Chris, fanzine, César, Jhon, myself. No, thank you to all of you for this amazing opportunity. What an amazing movie. And now, like Cesar said, we hope see you here the next time.
Awesome. Thank you.
And if you want to come to Argentina, please do. And again, I know a lot of people that if you have a project, please let me know. I will be happy to help you from here. Actually, I help a lot of people in the States. I know a lot of people in LA and New York, and we start doing co-production. Actually, I wanted to ask you if you are interested in doing some co-productions, because we do that. We start doing horror sci-fi shorts, animated shorts. That is the easiest way to start a collaboration. If you are interested, please let me know. I will be great.
Yeah, we'll be sure to do that.
Absolutely.
Fanzine, it's great that you mentioned that, because I invited, they don't came here, but I invited Daniel and Hasler. They are the ones that run the festival. It's called El Grito, but there is another. But there is another. Yes, but there is another festival. You mentioned animations that is called El Ojo Iluso. If you got some info, you can send it to me, because I work it in the press. So, and man, yes, I hope this movie Shatter. I love that there is in streaming, but this deserves festival participation, man, and travelings and red carpets and I don't know, piña coladas in every country.
Chris, do you have their contact info? That all sounds like, especially the part about the festival sounds really good.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yes, Chris, I will try to contact, of course, Fanzine knows them, Daniela and Hasler, but they are friends from the channel, so they will know about this, and I hope, and I hope they got the money to bring you to Colombia, and you will be here in Cucuta. It's like the border with Venezuela. It's a city. I will tell you this before this ends. The case of our city is crazy because we don't got movie schools, but we got people doing movies like Jhon, like myself. It's in a small city, and this project is not from Bogota, not from Medellin. No, it's from a small city. But I congratulate Jhon because they got you here, and no, I'm so happy because, of course, I'm a fan of also El Fanzine Argento, and have you here is great. And no, thank you for being here. And like Jhon said, this will not be the first time that you will be here. And I fingers crossed to participation in festivals. Yes, they increase in Latin America. We are crazy, and we love spooky gens like this. We are crazy, man. We are crazy.
Yeah.
That's why we enjoy Shatter, man.
I think it's the economic crisis that makes us crazy or something. Or we like horror because, the economy is horrible. So
Yeah.
It's a light escape, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, trust me, it is.
Chris, I think you have a number of short films that deserve to see more light of day. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a stash that we've made over the years. So
if you get a chance to find Red Glass Films YouTube channel, if you've not been on it, I think that's currently showcasing all of their all of our short films.
What's the name? Red Short Films.
Red Glass.
Yeah, it should be under Red Glass Films.
Red Glass Films.
Okay, and Fanzine, I will write you later for the El Ojo Iluso, for the animations, man.
Oh, okay, great. Yes.
And people, Jhon, ¿vas a decir algo más?
No.
You are the man.
Felicitarlos.
No, congratulations, felicitaciones, bravo. Bravo. See you next time, man.
All right, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Gracias.